What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Discord.js video. In this video, we're going to be creating a timed mute command. This command is going to allow you to time someone out for a specific amount of time and mute them so they can't send any messages on your Discord server. This command is also a little bit flexible, so you're able to customize it to your liking. So maybe you customize it so they can't join a voice channel or they can't do a specific permission. You can also do that with this method that we're doing in this YouTube video. If you're new to this channel, this is a channel where I record and make videos on Discord bots. So I basically code Discord bots and I take suggestions from the comments section below. So if you have a suggestion for me, make sure to leave it in the comments section. So if you're also new here, make sure to watch the first video where I go over how we set up our project so you don't get confused, and then make sure to watch the second video after that where I go over how to set up the commands, because Discord.js and the way people code, Discord bots is completely different. There's a lot of different methods that you can do, and in this channel we're kind of doing a simplistic way but yet practical. So we are doing switch and case methods when we're doing our commands. A lot of people have something like a command handler, and that's something we might do later on this channel, but for now we're just keeping this simple with this kind of method here and how we create commands. So if you're completely new here, make sure to check out the first video as well as the second video on this entire series, so you can pretty much kind of follow everything we're doing here. So let's go ahead and get started. And like most videos, we actually have to import a library or a package from npm. This is going to allow us to be able to control time without us having to write a whole program to check time, check how many seconds, how many minutes, because we want to be able to time out or kind of remove permissions for somebody in a timed fashion. So we want to do like a minute, 10 minutes, 1 hour, however long we want to time them out. And the package we're going to use is called ms. So open up your terminal here. I actually already installed it. And what you want to do is you want to do npm install ms-safe. And this is going to install ms. And that's the package we're going to be using to control our time. And it's very simple. We pretty much do this almost every single video. We usually import a different package from somewhere else. So if you actually open your package.json, under your dependencies, you're going to see ms and then whatever version of ms you have there. So with ms kind of imported into our package.json, we actually have to import it into our main file index.js. So we're going to do const ms equals require ms. Once again, this is the typical way that we usually start our videos with. It's just importing our packages that we're going to need. All right, so we're going to come down here to our command. We are going to be doing the mute. So !mute. Again, if you don't know how to do this, make sure to watch the second video. Now, the way we're going to do this mute command is actually by removing and adding different roles. So what you have to do, this is a little bit practical on the Discord side. You actually have to do some things to kind of set up your Discord server. First things first is go to the server settings and then go to roles. And what you want to do is you want to create two roles. The first role is your main role. When someone joins the server, you want to give them this role. So pretty much the normal basic role. What you also want to do is remove every single thing from the everyone role, because this role sometimes messes up with the code, and usually most servers already have everything turned off in the everyone role and they have their own custom roles. Again, it's very important for you to actually turn everything off on the everyone role, because sometimes it's going to overlap the permissions. So sometimes you might have something like someone be muted and then the everyone role allow him to be able to talk. So you want to remove everything from the everyone role, and then you want to create two roles. Again, just the main role, people can talk, people can join channels, whatever. So I named my newbie. And then you want to create a second role, and this is going to be your mute role. These are going to be the permissions that that mute person is going to be able to have. So if you want to mute them from not, being able to send messages like text messages, you can come all the way down here into your mute role and turn off send messages. And when someone gets that mute role with our little programming, a little command, they won't be able to send any messages. And this is where it gets flexible, because you can also create different permissions for different, maybe different mute roles and stuff like that. And you can pretty much customize this as much as you want. So for this mute role, I turned everything off except them being able to read the text channels and see voice channels. But basically everything off in this mute role. They can't join, they can't speak, they can't add reactions, they can't talk. All they can do is view the text channels and see the voice channels. That's it. They can only read and see. That's all. So make sure you have those two roles set up. So let's get to coding, which is the most important part. So what we're going to do is we have to get a variable. So we're going to do a let. You can also do a var or a const. We're going to do a let. We're going to call this person. And this variable is going to be the person that we want to mute. And this is just going to equal message that guild, that member. And it's going to be message that mentions. And it's going to be users, sorry, dot users. That first. And we're going to open this up. We're also going to have the and command. So these, I can't remember how you call these, but the straight up lines, it's from the backslash. If you do shift backslash, you're going to get these commands. And this is going to allow us to do an and. It's complicated. I don't want to teach you guys much about programming because you could easily learn this. It's just going to allow us to add two things. Instead of an or, we're adding two things. It's going to complicate it. Just make sure you add that. And we're also going to do message, no, sorry, message that guild, yep, members, I can't type, members, there we go, get, and we're actually going to get the arguments. We're going to get the second arguments in this command. The reason we get the second arguments is because the first arguments is already the mute. So this is the first arguments, as you can see here. So the second argument is going to be that person we want to mute. So right now our command would be something like mute, and then that second argument right here would be that person we want to mute. All right, perfect. Let's move on. Next thing is we want to check if that person is in our Discord server. So we're going to do if the person's not. That's how we kind of do it in programming. Then we're just going to return saying message that reply. We couldn't, let's just customize this. You can customize all these warnings as whatever you like. Couldn't find that member or something like that. I can't type because the microphone's in my way of my keyboard, even though I really don't need my keyboard to type or see my keyboard to type. All right, now we want to create a variable to store the main role. The main role, once again, is going to be that role that you created, which everyone's going to have, like for example, newbie. So we want to create a variable. So let's main role, and it's going to be equal to message that guilds, that roles, that find, and we are going to do role. We're going to pass this with an arrow function, and we're going to do role that name. It's not really an arrow function. And make sure you do the triple equals, and then this is the name of that role. Make sure you pretty much do exactly the same name. So if you have the capital N, make sure to put the capital N. So here for our little role, we actually have a capital N for newbie. So make sure to capitalize everything. And that's going to store our main role. Then we're going to actually create the mute role. And this is going to be the role. Actually, we're just going to copy everything here. This is going to be the role where someone's going to be muted. And we had it as mute as our name. All right. Now we want to check if the mute role exists. Because if it doesn't exist, then there's no point in doing this. So make sure you create the roles before you create this command. If you're trying to ship this off to a customer, if you're kind of coding for someone else, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to check if the mute role is available, if there is a mute role, and if not, make sure to create one. But since we're not doing this for customers, just make sure you create it on your own private server. So make sure you have that role, which is the mute role. So if the mute role does not exist, we're just going to simply return a message. And we're just going to message that reply, and it's going to do couldn't find the mute role. And there we go. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get the time, because we're going to do something like this. Our command is going to be mute, then at somebody. So we have a dummy account here. And then the amount of time. So 10 seconds, 1 minute, 1 hour, 2 hours, 200 hours, whatever. That's how we're going to create our command. So we have to get a variable for the time. So let time, and it's going to be the third argument. Sorry, there you go. And now we want to check that there was a time. So we have to check that they, whoever set the command, that they did specify a time that they wanted to mute that specific person. So let's do reply. You didn't specify a time or something like that. There we go. And also, before I continue forward, I do have a permissions video. So if you want to be able to do this with permissions, because right now we're kind of creating a command that anybody can do it. If you want to create it with the permissions video that I have, make sure to check that out and add the permissions as you see fit throughout this coding. All right, now we're gonna do person that remove role, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the main role, so main role.id. So we're removing the newbie role, and then we're actually gonna add the mute role. So we're gonna add role, and we're gonna add mute role.id. So we're removing the main role and we're adding the mute role. And this is kind of like a double checking. A lot of people have just the add mute role, but sometimes there's overlapping. So make sure you remove the main role and you add the mute role. And then now we're actually just gonna send a message to whoever sent that, I don't know, command, yeah. So we're gonna do a message that channel.send. And we're actually going to do the backslashes. Well, it's not the backslashes. I say it's the tilde key, but I don't know how people pronounce it. It's this key right here. It's not the quotation marks, but it's the backward quotation marks, if that makes sense. The reason we're doing this is because we're actually able to type some commands when we do this. So we're going to do at, and then we're going to do money sign, and then brackets. So that allows us to kind of open up that string and be able to put something in there. And we're going to do person that user that tag, and we're going to do has now been muted for, and we're going to open this up with another money sign, another brackets, and we're going to do ms time, and that should be it. So we are sending to the channel that that specific person has been muted or timed out or whatever for that amount of time. All right, now we're going to create, well, not really create a function, but we're going to use the function of set timeout, and we're actually going to pass our own function to it. So function, we're not going to do an arrow function for this video, just not to make that complicated. And we're going to person, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to add that role back, that main role. We want to add it back once the timeout is over and done. So role that ID, right? And then we want to remove the mute role. Now the way we do this is we add the role, then we remove it, so they're able to kind of see that they were removed. Because if you remove the role then add it, since you remove the role before adding it, they won't be able to see that you remove the role, if that makes sense. But if you add the role then remove the role, they're able to see that you remove the role. So it makes sense. So we're gonna do channel, message as channel, and we're just gonna send a message to whoever just got removed from the muted, whoever just got unmuted. So again, one of these back quotation marks, and then the @ sign, then the brackets, and sorry, the money sign right here. Don't forget the money sign. Then we're gonna do person user tag, and make sure you don't have the space in here. And now has been unmuted. Okay, and at the end, we're actually gonna go to this bracket right here and do a comma. Oh, all right then, right here, and it just leaves off this little part here, and we're gonna do ms. Can you please do it directly right here? ms time. And that should complete this tutorial. Again, it wasn't hard. Look how much code we wrote. Pretty much roughly 15-20 lines of code. Not much. Let's go ahead and test out what we created. So open up the terminal either with VS Code or with the command prompt. And we're going to do node space dot, or if you don't know how to do that, you do npm, I think it's run index.js, if I'm correct. I usually do node dot because I have it set up. So npm run index.js, no it's not, missing script index.js. What is it? I completely forgot. I haven't coded in JavaScript in a while. Basically, I have the tutorial on the first tutorial. I explain how to do it. Let's just do node dot. Most of you probably already have it set up, so you do node space dot. All right, our bot is active. Let's go to Discord. Let's actually pop out our dummy account. So we have our dummy account. No, don't switch. All right, so this dummy account currently it's kind of a little bit bugged out. So let's actually reload this. All right, so we are currently in the newbie role here, and we're gonna mute ourselves, our dummy account, which is this one right here. So we're gonna do mute at Alesh Games here, and let's mute ourselves for 10 seconds. So it's gonna say Alesh Games has been muted for 10 seconds. If we actually quickly come back here, I can't do anything. I can't join any voice channel or anything. It says I've been muted for 10 seconds. Blah, blah, blah. 10 seconds are over. Alesh Games has been unmuted, and I'm freely able to talk. Let's go ahead and try this one more time with a little bit of a longer, duration. So let's do 20 seconds. That's pretty long. And boom. The mute role, you can actually turn this off in the permissions, but if you go back here, the same thing. I can't do anything. I can't join voice channels. All I can see is what people are typing. I can't even see what people typed. I can only see what people are typing at that current time. And I literally can't do anything until, boom, the 20 seconds are over. Hello. Something like that. Well, I should probably say welcome with this account. But anyway, if you want to turn this off where he's completely muted and nobody knows he's muted, come here into roles, go into your mute command or mute role, sorry. And I think it's all the way down. Yeah, up here. Sorry, display role member separately from online members. So now this guy is completely gone out of the radar when it gets muted. So right now I am in the newbie mute at Alesh Games 10 seconds, and I'm completely gone. Actually, I am not gone. Why am I not gone? That is weird. I'm guessing it's, yeah, I think I know what's happening. Because this is exactly what I was talking about in the beginning of the video. It's that it's overlapping with the add everyone. So if we come here into, oh, sorry, that's the wrong one, roles, we'll see that add everyone, I can't turn off display role member. So it's gonna display myself, even though I turned it off when muted. There's probably a way to do it. But for this video, that's pretty much it. We've muted ourselves. Now, if you want to pretty much mute somebody for however long, so 1 minute, that's a pretty long time, I'm going to be muted for 1 minute. That's a whole entire minute. Now, I think there's a way, but I was going to say it's probably a way to do this nicely up here. If I remember correctly, long equals true. I completely forgot how to do this. I can't even type true. Wait a minute, guys. Is it there? Anyway, whatever. There is a method you can do in MS where instead of the 1M, it's actually going to return with minutes. So I would say, Alesh Games has been muted for 1 minute instead of the 1M, but that's just a little neat thing. Anyway, that's it. I'm muted for a whole entire minute. Well, the minute is over. I really did talk for a minute there. And boom, I can talk again. that is all we did with today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you use this in a practical way. Once again, you can mess around with all the permissions. So you can do a specific command only muting somebody from joining channels, or only muting somebody from sending text messages or anything. Customize this as much as you want. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, make sure to stay tuned with this channel, and I will see you guys later on my next video. Peace.